Yes, people, I am back. What's going on, people, man? Shout out to everybody tuning in once again. Let me move my chair to the right a little bit. 1 second. And I've got this light switch behind me as well, so if you see this, please don't mind it. Just look at my face, look at my big forehead. Shout out to everybody always tuning in. By the way, you know the face, you know the name. Aaron here, back again with another video. Shout out to everyone always tuning in. As I said, showing love, support, all of that good stuff. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. All these things help my channel massively in terms of being promoted to the right people, pushed to the right people. And I appreciate every single one of you, man, for your support every single time on TikTok as well. Make sure you follow me on TikTok. It's the same name as my YouTube handle, and you can follow me on every social media platform as well. Bruno Fernandes is reportedly close. Bruno Fernandes is reportedly close to signing a new deal with Manchester United until 2027, and there's an option for a further year, so he could be at the club. Until 2028. Now, obviously, people know that Bruno Fernandes is not really my cup of tea. And I will have to humbly say that this might be the first kind of humble L that Ineos will have to take, because I do seem to remember that when they first came in, the talk was about rejuvenating the squad. When they first came in, the talk was about, making sure the squad is younger, young, hungry players come in and all of that good stuff. With this contract extension of Bruno Fernandes, I don't really think that this is what they're doing, if I'm honest. Let's talk about the character first then. He's the captain of the football club. But as a captain, sometimes I do question what he does, I'm not the only one to say that. I mean, there was a point during the season where people just got fed up with the way Bruno Fernandes behaves on the pitch sometimes. It's very easy to throw him off his game. You just have to poke him a little bit sometimes, get into his face, get into his thoughts. He loses it, and then boom, he's completely thrown off his game, complains to the ref, complains to the manager, complains to his teammates, complains, whinges, rolls around on the floor. Do you know what I mean? Them kind of things. And as a captain, for me, those things, it's a non-negotiable. You're the captain and you should be setting the example regardless. I don't care if you're angry at the ref. There's a way to go to the referee and speak to the ref. There's a way to go to your teammates and speak to them, not moaning and whinging all the time. Because I remember there was a game that was before Sancho left and had this whole feud with Ten Hag. There was something that happened, and you obviously sometimes you read lips, innit? And Sancho was telling Bruno, stop moaning. And this tells you that this is what he does. And you can see it on the pitch, like, it's visible. Do you know what I mean? That's not really captain material for me. That's not captain-like. And that's very much not showing the example. In terms of the character, Bruno Fernandes is somebody that does give something very important to the game sometimes. But if you take away his ability to score goals and give assists, I really struggle to see how Bruno Fernandes impacts the game in other ways. Sometimes a player can not score goals, a player can not have assists every single game, but you see that they impact the game in different ways, especially as a midfielder in 2024. You see it every single time. Of course, you have midfielders that don't score every single game, but they impact the game in different ways. They have that eye for a pass. They have that, I don't know, maybe physicality, or they have the ability to win the ball back. They have the ability to motivate the team. And now I'm getting into the technical side of things. They have the technical ability to look after their passes, to make sure that the pass that they play really arrives at the person it was intended to. Obviously, now into the technical side of things, Bruno Fernandes, technically, as a midfielder, I don't rate him the same way people... I don't rate Bruno Fernandes the same way people rate him at this super high level as a midfielder, because you just have to look at some of the performances during the season. He turns up in the smaller games, but in the bigger games, he turns to go quiet. He turns to, not have an impact. You know, when we need him the most, he goes missing. And those are just facts. People are going to turn around and say, well, he's spearheading us to trophies. What do you call spearheading? Because when we went to the final of the FA Cup, we won it collectively as a team. It wasn't him that really stood out. The Carabao Cup that we won, Casemiro was bossing that midfield 2 seasons ago. So I'm really struggling to see where this narrative comes from. He's carrying us to where? Because despite Andre Onana's horrible mistakes in the Champions League, I don't see where Bruno Fernandes has, taken the game by the scruff of the neck and really pulled us out of sticky situations. And I've not seen that. I'm sorry. Every time, there were a lot of games at home that we played last season where we got absolutely battered and we had to do comeback missions to win it. There was a time, I think, was it Southampton? It wasn't Southampton, it was someone else. It was someone else. I'm trying to remember. The one where we lost 3-0 at home. Was it Burnley? I don't know. I'm chatting nonsense. Please remind me in the comments. But there was a game where we lost 3-0 at home. And there's countless games that I can remember off the top of my head where people just came to Old Trafford and bossed us. Do you know what I mean? If Bruno Fernandes is such a high-level midfielder that everybody pretends him to be, surely we would have finished higher in the table last season. Surely, again, despite Onana's mistakes, we would have gotten out of the group. Surely, if he's that higher level of a midfielder like everybody pretends him to be. I'm looking at his performances at the Euros. They were absolutely shambolic. I'm sorry, but I just don't rate him as highly as everybody else does. I think he's a decent player who can have impact on the team. But I don't think, this is another thing, we should build the team around Bruno Fernandes. We've been doing that for 6 years now. We've been trying to build the team around him all this time. And clearly, it hasn't worked out. So for me, the best thing would have been to refrain from Bruno Fernandes, let him run down his contract, let him leave, give him a good send-off. Thank you for your services. It's time to move on. Bring in a young, fresh player, a young, fresh number 10, a modern number 10. Because I think nowadays we're too caught up in this whole physicality thing. And, he plays for the badge and his passion. And again, I struggle to name on-the-ball attributes of Bruno Fernandes for Man United. And when I ask people, they always tell me he plays for the badge. No, give me on-the-ball attributes from Bruno Fernandes. Give me on-the-ball qualities that he consistently replicates every game. And I'm not talking about those spam balls that he does sometimes. When he returns the ball when he receives the ball on the half turn, and then he just smashes it and just spams a diag. And it's one of those where it's not calculated. It's more of, let me get it out of my feet because people are pressing me and he's not comfortable dribbling. He's not comfortable in tight spaces. If he is being pressed, he'd rather just boot it, and then whoever it lands to, who it lands to. I'm not really a fan of that, innit? So, I'm not the biggest fan about this contract extension. I'm not going to lie, because it's not like he's going to get any better, Because at least if you give like a 4-year-old a contract extension, you're like, you know what? There's still a margin of progression. There's still a higher level for him to go to. I don't think Bruno Fernandes is going to reach any level higher than what he already is. In fact, I actually think we've seen the best of Bruno Fernandes. The best of Bruno Fernandes is when he scores goals. And when he doesn't score goals, he's ineffective. He's a passenger. And it's very ironic that when Ronaldo came to the club, Bruno Fernandes' goals dried out and he was a passenger. And when Ronaldo wasn't scoring, he was a passenger as well. So we had 2 passengers in the club. So, it's a very strange one, man. I'm not going to lie. I'm not the biggest fan of this contract extension. And I think that with time, it will prove to be the wrong decision. I think with him approaching 30 as well in a couple of days, obviously that doesn't mean, again, I'm not saying that when you do hit 30, all of a sudden you're being stripped away of all your powers. But in Bruno Fernandes' case specifically, because of his very limited skill set, he's not going to get any better. I don't think he will. So I'm just wondering what happened to the whole rejuvenating the squad. What happened to the whole making sure the squad is younger? What happened to the whole nobody should get contract extensions and wages above a certain limit when you're above a certain age? I'm just wondering what happened to all that. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section below, guys. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe you like Bruno Fernandes and you've got a different view on it. So yeah, let me know in the comment section below. You know what to do. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'm out. Peace.